Hi, Melanie Muenchinger here, illustrator for Gina K Designs. Today I have a new project for you with my newest set from Gina K Designs, A Year of Flowers 3, and I'm pairing it with a coordinating set holiday basket. Last week I showed how to mask some of these images into the wash tub from my Beyond Basket set. Very similar what you would do with this large basket here. So I'm not going to use the basket today because I have used this particular image in a lot of other videos showing you how to color and mask that. But I want to show you some of the long greetings in this set, as well as these coordinating with the other flower images in the Year of Flowers 3. I really love a long greeting, but sometimes it can be kind of hard to figure out how to fill up the rest of your space. This basket with these flowers is obviously going to fill up a whole card, but what if you want to just use a greeting? How can you fill that in with some smaller images? So today, I'm going to be creating this card with the May Your Day Be Filled with Love sentiment. And I put that in there because that's so useful for so many different kinds of occasions. Whether it's a birthday, Mother's Day, wedding, there's so many options. So I started doing it on the white with the poinsettia from my A Year of Flowers 3. But I thought it would be really fun to demonstrate this on the Kraft cardstock to show you how pretty that baby's breath comes out when you accent it with a white gel pen. To begin, what we're going to be using today for this project, I've got the the Sukaniko Memento Tuxedo Black Pad and a Gina K Grass Green Pad for stamping the baby's breath. We've got the Holiday Basket set and the A Year of Flowers 3 set. I've got some Gina K Pure Luxury cardstock. This is the Kraft and the Cherry Red. I have some different size blocks for those images. I'm going to be using some Spectrum Noir markers. We've got the CG4, the DR3, the BG3, and the DR6 for coloring. Got just a little bit of adhesive and some adhesive pearls. And then just a white gel pen. This is one of my favorite ones for small details. It's a jelly roll, but several other ones that you can use. Okay, so let's get started. What we're going to do is we are going to stamp this image, stamp the sentiment first, just so that we can get that in the center. Okay. And then I'm going to stamp this poinsettia above and below, so it's kind of like a mirror image. And the way that I drew this is so that you can have it being facing up, or if you turn it over, it can still look like it's facing up rather than down, just by the way that you color it, as if it's folding out rather than cupping in. Another thing that's kind of fun about this, it's pretty flat on the side, so I'm going to show you some ways that you can create borders or make the label like I've shown in some of my other videos. So I'm going to put the open part at the top with the flatter part next to the sentiment, so just right in the middle. And then I'm going to do it down below. Okay, so we're done with the black. And then I showed that little sample chart of the baby's breath last week. Where did it go? Let's see, here we go. So here's some different suggested colors for that baby's breath. I'm using the grass green. Keep in mind everything is going to be a little bit darker when you stamp it onto the craft paper versus the white. Now you can mask this if you want it to overlap the edge there, but I'm trying to kind of make it look like a little flourish, like some little branches coming out, just to really frame that greeting. And I'm going to stamp off, but you can do them both full strength if you want. And I'm going to have the darker one at the top and then the stamped off version below. And then we'll turn our mask over. And so the mask, I showed this in another video, how if you just stamp the images onto a piece of scratch paper or some post-it notes or masking paper, then you just cut them out and you can lay them on top of your stamped images, and everything you stamp over the mask will look like it's behind it. We forgot to do the stamping off on the second one. Oh, I want it to be a little darker than that. Okay. All right, so there's our stamping that we're going to do. Now let's color this in. So I'm going to use the DR3 for the background. So this looks a lot lighter. I'll show you the two cards side by side. I colored them with the exact same color, but the red looks a lot bluer, more like our cherry red cardstock. So that's what I end up using for the matte instead of the red hot, which I used on the white card. So I will list the supplies for both if you want to make the white one. So these are very Christmassy colors, so I can save this for a Christmas card, or you could do it in different colors if you wanted to make it springier. I know a lot of you are ready for spring right now, but I always just love red with Kraft. So this is the most time consuming part of the card, just getting this filled in. Those little tight areas. Now keep in mind, if you're doing a single layer card, alcohol markers do come through the Kraft, although they do not go through the base weight white cardstock. So just something to keep in mind. That's why this is a layered card. Then I'm going to use the DR6. So this is about 3 shades up from, or 3 shades down, depending on how you think of it, darker. So I'm going to do that underneath there on the back petals, whoops, and then towards the middle where it's going to be tucked in. You can trace those little veins if you want. And then that little fold there, I'm just going to touch a little bit of that in. Just bring that up, maybe along the edge of that. Very easy to color this one. Okay, now let's do the same thing here. So just right in those middle portions, and then I'm going to go underneath here, since that would be casting a shadow onto that, and then filling all this in. So it just takes a little bit. Okay, now let's do our shadow. And I wish I had done this first, just because I don't want to pull that red out, but I'm just going to be careful. Usually if I have a really dark color like red, I try to do my shadow first, just to remind me where the color is going to be, but also so I don't pull pink out onto my background from that dark red. So I'm just tracing here. I'm not freehanding any kind of form. Just a little bit on those on the side. And then if you want, you can leave these open because they're so light, or you can do just a tiny bit of a shadow there. Again, I'm just tracing it a little bit. And I think I'm going to leave the stamped off one uncolored just because it's so faint. And then we're going to put just a little bit of this green in the middle. Just dot that in. And even though I said this is darker on the Kraft, it will lighten up a bit as it dries. So it was hard to see that when I was putting it down over that black outline, but I can see it just fine now. Okay, so then we're going to just take our white gel pen and just dot and just do a little squiggle if you need it to be a little heavier. Just right over those tiny little blossoms. And I love that little detail. So you don't have to do that obviously when you have it on white cardstock, but it just really, really looks like baby's breath this way. And then, since we've already got the white gel pen out, you can do just the tiniest little bit of dots as if they're making a highlight on those shiny berries in the middle. All those little tiny things, and I'll go ahead and put just a tiny little bit less on the stamped off ones. Just more subtle. So this one up here. But I just love creating flower borders or flourishes with different floral elements and leaves. And then the last thing that I wanted to do here is just to add some pearls. And I did this on a card that I shared at the release party, just because I was trying to do something a little bit different. I just love how it turned out. So I thought I would do it on the card today. So I'm just taking 2 of the pearls off and lining them up there with the sentiment. So you've got one slightly above and one slightly below. And then I'm going to put a third pearl on either side. It just makes it fancier, just kind of unexpected, a little more interesting than just having a single one. And that just really frames up the greeting nicely. Very simple card. So we'll go ahead and we will adhere this to the cherry red cardstock. And you could put this on a white base if you choose. Show you how that's going to look. So there it is on a white card base. Very Christmassy, really pretty. But see, you can see the difference here, hopefully. It's just a shade darker, but just a little bit more blue. But when I put it with this red, I was really noticing that it just looked a little too bright. So the cherry red is perfect with those two markers if you're using the Kraft. And then I'm just going to adhere that to the base. And the card is complete. So you can swap this out with the Thankful For You and All You Do greeting and any of the other flowers, but this one just really fit onto an A2 size card nicely. I wanted to also show you just really quickly how the different flowers and different leaves go together in my A Year of Flowers, the original set, and my A Year of Flowers 3 set. So on this side, I have the different blossoms stamped out. So these are from A Year of Flowers 3. And then next to it, we've got the images from A Year of Flowers 3. So the sunflower, you can see the different stages, starting at a bud and then opening a little bit more. And for this one, I would use these leaves to go with it, or you can also use these leaves. This is the full-blown rose, and you can see it in progression, and I'd recommend these leaves with it. This leaf right here is just like one of these leaves, except it's folded together and curving out. So you have one for either side. This is the left one, this is the right one. They look very similar, but the reason why I stamped them that way is because you want the veins going out. That's how the leaves grow. The daisy, you can see two smaller ones, so we've got them in two different positions. The tulip, you've got this open one, and then either of these small buds. This one and this one, they go with the small buds as well. I really like these long leaves that I added to the set. So I didn't really have any long ones that were kind of like tulip leaves before. This is the left one. This is the right one. I accidentally stamped this one upside down, but it would still work. But this is curled together the way that it wraps around the stem. So that would go towards the bottom of your stamp stem. And then I have a smaller one here for if you want to have a mirror image of that on the other side, just to change it up in your layout. Here's a different view of the lotus, and then finally there's that poinsettia. So these can be stamped all around it, so it will look like it's turned different directions rather than just facing on. I hope this is helpful to you to again see the images in that set, and it gives you some ideas for how you can use this with a holiday basket. Please visit us at Hands, Head, and Heart and Stamp TV for more ideas and inspiration using all of our stamp sets and Gina K Designs. Thank you for watching today. I hope you will subscribe to my channel for more videos. God bless.